Hello friends, greetings of the day. Welcome to the online session of business and commercial knowledge. So in this session we are going to learn chapter number 4, that is government policies for business growth. In this series of chapter number 4 we have already completed the historical background of business policies and contemporary policies like LPG, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization. Now in this session we are going to learn meaning of policies. What do we mean by policy? That is the subject matter of this particular video. In any nation, policy making process is related to political actions. It means that policies for the nation are prepared by the political parties, political leaders. That means in our country, if we say the policies related to public welfare, policies related to taxes, policies related to the development, these all policies are prepared by the government of the nation. So the common man cannot prepare the policies. Policies are prepared by the government for any nation. And according to Gabriel Almond, friends, do remember the name of this expert person, Gabriel Almond. He has outlined political system as a set of interactions having structure, each of which performs its functions in order to keep it like an ongoing concern. It is a set of process that routinely converts inputs into outputs. According to Gabriel Almond, the policy making is a continuous process, is a routine process in which the inputs are converted into the outputs. Now what do we mean by inputs here? Here input means the complaints, the thoughts or the feedbacks given by the public. These thoughts, these opinions, these feedbacks, these complaints are input for the government. Government takes these inputs into their thinking process, and out of this thinking process, in order to solve the problems of the people, in order to give response to the feedback, in order to give certain benefits to the people, government prepares output that becomes the policy. So inputs are feedback from the public and policy is output for the public welfare. So this is continuous process. Government continuously takes the feedback of the people, and on the basis of this feedback, on the basis of the opinion given by the general public, government prepares the policies by taking actions. So Gabriel Almond has said that the policy making process is conversion of inputs into outputs. Once again I am saying inputs are the feedbacks, opinions, responses, complaints given by the public, and output here means the policy in response to these inputs. So according to Gabriel Almond, policy making is conversion of inputs into outputs. Then these outputs are termed as public policies. So it is conversion of inputs into outputs. Inputs are feedbacks of the public, outputs are public policies. An autocratic ruler, autocratic means that kind of ruler who thinks himself as the supreme power, and opinion of no other is taken into consideration. Only one person is considered to be the superior in the nation. That person is considered as an autocratic leader, like Kim Jong of Korea is an autocratic leader. He does not think about the public welfare or public freedom. He will always prepare the policies that are showing dominance of one person only. He will always prepare that kind of policies that can show the dominance of that person only. So that kind of policies are considered as autocratic policies. Then again, a next definition or a model is given by David Easton. Again, this is very much important for MCQ purpose. You need to remember Black box model. Black box model is given by David Easton. David Easton has said that uh, model on politics policy relationship, which is known as black box model, which is considered as feedback model. So according to David Easton, government takes the feedback from the public, and on the basis of the feedback given by the public, government prepares the policy. This model is considered as black box model. This model identifies that there are many societal demands which are not included in the decision and policies designed by the state. State means here government. Government has prepared a policy. Government implements the same. But sometimes it happens that the policy which is prepared by the government has not considered the societal demand. That means the demand of the society is not satisfied by this particular policy. As a result, people will oppose this policy. People will give their feedback, and on the basis of that feedback given by the public, the policy will be redesigned by taking into consideration those feedbacks. So this conversion is considered as policy making process. So in the course of time, government tries to look for some avenues to look for feedback process towards the public policy. So whatever policy was designed by the government, public's demand was not satisfied in it, so public opposed the same. As a result, the feedback were given to the government. Government took this feedback into consideration, and then policy was modified. So this is considered as policy reform. Once again, let us take a look on the whole process. First, government prepares a policy in which public's demand are not satisfied, so public opposes such kind of policies. Government takes the feedback of the public into consideration and modifies the policy, and new policy is put into the action. So the whole process is known as policy reform. So such kind of policy reform process is known as black box model. This is given by David Easton. Let us take the definitions of public policy. Public policy is guided by social, cultural, religious, and political factors. Any policy which is prepared by the government must take into consideration the social values, cultural values, religious values, and political factors into consideration. If any policy is opposing the social values, cultural values, religious values, or political factors, that policy will always be opposed by the people. The people will not accept such kind of policy. So policy must consider the social, cultural, religious, and political factors. One definition is given by Thomas R. Dye. Friends, you need to remember all the definitions given here, and the people who have given this definition, name of that people must be remembered. Thomas R. Dye has said that public policy is whatever government chooses to do or not to do. That means public policy is the decision of the government. If government chooses to do one task, or government opposes or stops doing particular task, that selection of the government becomes the public policy. Say for example, government has taken the decision to charge taxes on industrial products, so it becomes the tax policy. Whereas government has stopped taking taxes on the agricultural products, so agriculture is tax free. So not to do, what not to do? Not to collect tax on agriculture. This is again a decision of the government. This decision is also known as policy of the government. So whatever government chooses to do or not to do is considered as public policy. Again, a new definition is given by Richard Rose. According to Richard, public policy is not a decision, it is a course or pattern of activity. Public policy is not one decision, it is the combination of several decisions. Say for example, if we talk about industrial policy, so industrial policy is not one decision, but it is the course of several decisions, several activities taken by the government. Under industrial policy, government has taken several kind of decisions. Say for example, which should be considered as a small industry, which should be considered as a medium industry, which should be considered as a large scale industries. These decisions are taken. Which industry should be given subsidy, which industry should not be given subsidy, on which particular industry more taxes should be charged, on which particular industry less taxes will be charged. So many decisions are taken by the government, and all these decisions as a combination become public policy, or we can say industrial policy. So it is not one decision, but it is the set of several decisions. This definition is given by Richard Rose. Public policy, according to them, is a summation of decisions followed by many. It is not one decision, as I said, it is summation of several decisions. So several decisions on particular subject are considered as policy. India is a pluralistic society. Therefore, there are so many opinions and we have complex legal system, whereas in Dubai, laws are stringent but very simple. So in India, we have very much complex legal system. Why? Because so many people are there, so many religions are there, and government has to consider all these religions, the feelings and emotions of all these people must be taken into consideration. So our legal process becomes very much complex. Whereas in Dubai, they have prepared very strict actions, strict laws, and without considering any kind of emotions or feelings of the people. So their laws are very much stringent but very much simple. According to Carl Friedrich, once again a new person has given the definition of public policy. According to Carl J. Friedrich, in his opinion, public policy is a proposed course of action of a person, group, or government within a given environment, providing opportunities and obstacles which the policy was proposed to utilize and overcome in an effort to reach a goal, to realize an objective or purpose. It means that public policy is the process of achieving a particular goal or objective. Government first sets the goal, or group of persons or individual first sets the goal or objective, and in order to achieve that particular objective, so many actions are taken. The set of these actions are considered as public policy. Say for example, Government of India has set an objective of industrial growth of 7%, suppose. Now in order to achieve 7% industrial growth, government will take so many kind of actions for industrial development. Government will ease the licensing process. Government will start different sectors in which businesses can be done. Government will give several licenses to the new businesses. All this kind of decision making will be considered as the industrial policy, and that industrial policy will achieve the objective of 7% industrial growth. So the first objective was prepared. Objective was to achieve 7% industrial growth, and now in order to achieve that 7%, so many actions are taken. The set of all these actions are considered as policy. Here these actions were related to the industry, so that is considered as industrial policy. Indian policies are directed for the upliftment of socially deprived classes. Government of India has always focused on equality. To bring equality, government always focuses on upliftment of socially deprived, that means poor people, backward class of people. And for the welfare of these backward class of people, government prepares several policies. So Government of India prepares the policies for the welfare of backward classes. Now let us learn the characteristics of public policy. Public policies are always goal oriented. As I said in the definition of Carl J. Friedrich, first, in order to prepare the policy, goal or objective is set out, and in order to achieve that particular goal, the government prepares the policies. Say for example, in order to achieve economic growth, policy is prepared. In order to achieve industrial growth, the policy is prepared. So economic growth or industrial growth are the goals or objectives, and in order to achieve that goals, the policies are prepared. Then public policy represents the outcome of the government's collective actions. Now in order to achieve that particular goal, government has to take several kind of decisions, and all these collective decisions are considered as public policy. So for example, if we talk about educational policy, so in order to develop literacy level, in order to increase the literacy level, government has prepared an educational policy. So many kind of decisions are taken in order to achieve the growth of literacy in India. So that becomes public policy in India. Public policy is what government actually decides or chooses to do. What government decides to do or not to do, we can say. That decision of doing or not to do is considered as a public policy. Say for example, government decides to charge tax on particular product, that is considered as public policy. Or government decides not to charge a tax, that is also considered as a public policy. So whatever government decides to do or not to do, that is considered as a public policy. Then public policy is positive in the sense, now do remember this, it is positive in the sense any policy will be for the welfare or development of the people, that the concern of the government and involves action to a particular problem on which the policy is made. Policies are always meant for solving certain kind of problems that are existent in the society. Policy will not create the problem, rather they are the answers to the problems which are already existing. So policies are positive in the nature, they are meant for the development of certain class or development of the whole society. So it is problem solving in nature. So thank you for now. Goodbye.